We've seen the renaissance of Espanyol in La Liga this season. Look, Espanyol are currently sitting fourth in the European places. Look, I understand, it's very early in the season. However, having watched them on a couple of occasions since moving to Barcelona, they're a very solid team with some creative players up in their forward line. It's a good recipe for them reaching Europe. Now, they survived arguably in difficult circumstances last year. They were promoted the year before, survived the Liga, and now they've built on it by bringing in some great signings. They've got a good team. Some players that have stood out to me so far. Tyrese Dolan, who moved over from England with Blackburn Rovers, he's been very impressive. You got Javi Puedo, who's doing very well. Paul Lozano in the middle of the pitch. Leandro Cabrera at the back as well. These players seem to be at the core of what they're doing well. Now, don't get me wrong, other players have stood out as well. But Maniolo Gonzalez has them playing and ticking perfectly. Now, they did lose Real Madrid at the weekend. They drew midweek, but they scored in the last minutes to earn a draw, which was quite impressive having watched them. They were pressing and pressing for that equaliser. Something you wouldn't have thought of that they could achieve last season when they were fighting down in relegation in La Liga. However, having built, I honestly think they can make Europe this season. Whether it's the Champions League is another question, because you have teams like Atletico Madrid and Bilbao who aren't performing at the minute. They just aren't reaching the heights that you'd expect them to achieve. But if Espanyol can just keep in there and keep building and getting good results, you never know. They play Girona at the weekend, which will be a Catalan derby. This is kind of telling to see where they are at this minute in time. Should they be able to beat Girona, who a couple of seasons ago were quite impressive, but from last season and this season, they've been very easy to score against. Quite an easy opponent, and I think they will get relegated themselves, Girona. However, when it comes to a derby, you need to make sure you get your wins. And I think it'll be a test of character for them, but I think they could do it. And I think that will be an indication to see that they will be making Europe this season. Be that Conference League, be that Europa League, be that obviously Champions League. Now, they have a history in the UEFA Cup or Europa League. They've made the final twice, lost twice. First was in 1988, then in 2007. Now, in 2007, they lost to a team who never give up the UEFA or Europa League. It was Sevilla. So they had no chance. But look, what do you think? Do you think Espanyol could be a sneaky little surprise getting into Europe this season? Let me know what you think. I've been Brendan McGilligan. Thank you very much for listening.